Well into the season now, we move from Germany to Hungary for round 11 of the 2012 FF1M Championship, coming to you from the tight and twisty Hungaroring circuit in Budapest. A completely different challenge to that of Hockenheim, which featured long straights and chicanes. This one's more of a go-kart track, one which some drivers enjoy, but some drivers don't enjoy the lack of overtaking opportunities. Last round saw Fernando Alonso utterly dominate the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim, having taken the lead when Nico Rosberg crashed out of the race. Sensationally, it has to be said. And despite Lewis Hamilton's own drama, losing his front wing on lap 3, he managed to recover to 4th place behind Di Grassi, Ricciardo and race winner Fernando Alonso. That win moved Hamilton 11 points clear of Rosberg, and Alonso jumps up to 3rd in the championship. And Tornado, well, the Constructors' Championship is considerably less close, with there being a 25-point gap between their nearest rivals. As mentioned before, it is a tight and twisty circuit, with the longest straight coming at the start-finish straight, but it's a short straight as well. The circuit is only less than 4 kilometres long, 77 laps. That's going to be a gruelling afternoon. And 3 stops expected for the whole field, due to the high lap length probably, looking to go as fast as possible in each of the 4 stints. And last season's winner Nico Hülkenberg, to date that is Mitchell's last win, as they look to try and get back up to the front. They're not at the front this time, but it's Nico Rosberg who takes pole position for this race. He's joined by championship rival Lewis Hamilton and twice race winner this season Fernando Alonso in 3rd for Willows Racing, and he's joined by Daniel Ricciardo. FJI look more competitive. They qualify on the 3rd row with Raikkonen ahead of Grosjean, and it seems as if Shake and Bake look a bit more competitive as well. Sebastian Vettel is up in 7th position, and Lucas Di Grassi 8th, Kamui Kobayashi 9th, and the other Shake and Bake of Sergio Perez in 10th position. And it seems to be a slightly stronger showing for AJ as well, with Jenson Button in 12th position, although Webber is 16th, but not too bad, considering that AJ are the only ones running the Cosworth engines. Good effort from Nico Hülkenberg up in 14th place on the grid, unlike that of Nick Heidfeld, who starts last, but nevertheless, Mitchell and their lawnmower engines look to be making progress despite the vicious war of words between them and their suppliers. So here we are on the grid, 5 lights on, and this time it's 5 lights out. And that's a good start from Nico Rosberg from pole position. Kimi Raikkonen's had a very good launch as well from 5th on the grid, and it's quite close going into turn 1, but it's Lewis Hamilton who has lost 2nd position to Fernando Alonso as they round the first turn, although he's hanging on round the outside. Can he do that about Fernando Alonso? Yes, he can. Hamilton holds on to 2nd position, and Daniel Ricciardo in 4th position, so it's as you were at the start with Rosberg, Hamilton, Alonso, Ricciardo, and the 2 FJRs. Coming through turn 5 now is Nico Rosberg, and rounding that corner, let's see what the respective strategies are like. It's going to be fairly similar throughout the whole field. Rosberg on 18 laps of fuel on the bottom left-hand indicator. How much fuel has Lewis Hamilton got? But at the moment, Lewis does look quicker than his championship rival. 11 points the lead between, or the gap between these two, but Hamilton's looking a lot faster at this stage of the race. As they round the penultimate corner, Rosberg turns in, Hamilton also turns in, exiting the penultimate corner, and now into the final one. Very long right-hander, similar to turn 1, except there's not really much in the way of elevation, but it's crossing the line to complete the first lap. At the moment, it's Nico Rosberg who leads, but Hamilton is on the attack, and up the inside into turn 1, Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the race. Championship elect Lewis Hamilton. And let's see how much he can pull away, if that, with the advantage that Tornado seemed to have over the Sean Connery Motorsh. Customer engine Ferrari versus the works Ferrari, and at the moment it's the customer that doesn't seem to be working too badly at the moment. And oh, the big crash! That's Sergio Perez, who has lost both front wheels. Let's see what happens here. That's a Pedersen going off the track, and that's the Pedersen out of the race as well. I think it's Kobayashi. It is indeed. So that's odd. I've never seen that before. Both wheels off. And here's a look at the other Shake and Bake, who he's going to have his off as well. It's been a terrible afternoon for Shake and Bake already, and we're only on lap 4. Perez is out, and now Vettel's had a very, very careless spin. Here is the most reliable driver in the field at the moment, Adrian Sutil, about to go through the fast right-hander, and that surely is his first ever retirement of the season. He's pulled off. There we go. Adrian Sutil out of the race. And now, rounding the penultimate corner, Fernando Alonso looks as if he's on the move. He has got Nico Rosberg right in front of him. And when I say right in front of him, let's find out as they cross the line as they start their 7th lap. How big is the gap between these two? It's just 0.2 of a second, and Rosberg trying to defend. He does so successfully. Fernando Alonso has won this race twice, once with M Sport back in the Masters era of the 1989 dubbed season, and then again with Guy Racing in the 1993 season. That's not correct, sorry. 92 with Maestro Motorsport. And hasn't won at Hungary since. Although Guy Racing have had 4 race wins at this circuit, in the shape of Ayrton Senna, Jacques Villeneuve, Ralf Schumacher and Timo Glock. But it hasn't been since 2005 since Guy Racing won at this circuit. Now they're under Sean Connery Motors and they are under pressure from Alonso. Here's Vettel making a recovery. That was past one of the horizons. And here's Lewis Hamilton, leading by 6.4 seconds over Nico Rosberg, who is struggling to hold on from Fernando Alonso, but Hamilton turns in. The car is understeering off the track. He's hit the wall. Has he lost a wheel? Yes, he has. Hamilton has crashed out of the race. Unbelievable. And Rosberg's hit the front wing, and now he's in trouble. Well, this is a dramatic turn of events. Hamilton's crashed, and Rosberg has hit the remains of that tornado. Now he's going to hold up the other tornado for a little bit. Now, both championship contenders in major trouble. One of them out, and one of them in the pits. This is going to benefit Fernando Alonso greatly, because he is on the move, having won 2 of the last 3 races, and now he is in the lead of the race. Although the last time I did see, he did have a queue of cars behind him, so he's got a 1.4 second gap over Daniel Ricciardo, and both FJRs, 3rd and 4th, they're looking a lot more competitive than they were in Hockenheim. I mean, their Honda engine not quite working out as well as some of the other works engine cars, but here is the leader, Fernando Alonso, for Willows Racing. His teammates up in 6th position as well, so good race for Willows so far. And it's a 1.6 second gap between Alonso and Ricciardo, so Alonso just edging it a little bit, and the 2 FJRs close, but let's see how their race pans out, because I don't think their car is quite as competitive as Willows or Tornado. Meanwhile, Lucas Di Grassi is in 5th position, ahead of Pastor Maldonado in 6th. Jenson Button in the AJ is up in 7th position, so his good qualifying, he's putting that to good use. And in 8th position is Bruno Senna. Bruno Senna has actually won the Hungarian Grand Prix before with Shannon. That was back in 2008, when they had Senna and Maldonado at their disposal. And Shannon have actually won the 2006 Hungarian Grand Prix as well. That was with Vitantonio Liuzzi, back when Nico Rosberg and Liuzzi were championship contenders. That battle going by the way of Nico Rosberg come the end of that particular season. So as Fernando Alonso crosses the line, the gap between himself and Daniel Ricciardo has gone down a little bit by a 1/10. It's now 1.5 seconds, as they are now on lap 13. The FJR's 2 to 3/10 of a lap slower than Alonso, and Rosberg recovering has gone off the track at turn 4 and the car twitching violently, but he's managed to rejoin from that. Down in 18th position, it's been an awful race for him. Here's Sebastian Vettel continuing his recovery. That's past the GRM. Now is that Buemi or Verne? Again, hard to tell between the 2 helmets. Rosberg's still pushing hard. He's gone off the same track at the same point as Hamilton, and he's crashed out of the race as well. Both championship contenders out. Now, this is going to benefit Alonso even greatly. And Kimi Raikkonen in third position. He's gone off the track as well at the same corner. That's a wheel gone. He's out. Kimi Raikkonen out of third position. Careless, it has to be said. But historically, that corner has always proved difficult for the drivers, whether it's in this format or the previous software, GP3. Exiting the pits from his first pit stop, Fernando Alonso, that was a 6.6 second stop, rejoins right in front of the battling Senna and Kubica. That is 6th position for Fernando Alonso at the moment. And now, next lap, Daniel Ricciardo in the pits. So, will new tyres or a lighter fuel load be the greater advantage here? They were only separated by less than 2 seconds, so this is going to be quite close, as the Tornado mechanics get to work on Ricciardo's car. Slightly less fuel going on board, but 0.2 quicker. Exiting the pits goes Ricciardo. Where is Fernando Alonso? And there he is, and Ricciardo has actually got ahead of him. So, Daniel Ricciardo, once Grosjean and Di Grassi make their first pit stops, will be leading the race. Now that's a turn up for the books. The British Grand Prix race winner has overtaken the German and Austrian Grand Prix winner, Fernando Alonso. Now then, let's see what Alonso can do about that. As Nick Heidfeld comes into the pits, and here's Romain Grosjean in the pits as well, as is Di Grassi. And short fill for Grosjean. How quick will this stop? 5.9 seconds. That is a good stop for Grosjean. Twice podium finisher this season. That was at Monaco and then Canada. And out of the pits comes Grosjean. Nice bit of clear track for him. Getting on the curb a little bit on the inside. So he is in third position at the moment. And, oh, Fernando Alonso's pulled off the track! That is a mechanical problem for him. That will move Grosjean up into second position. And that was shortly after Alonso's pit stop as well. And his gearbox, according to the graphic, has failed. That is bad luck for him. And here's Vettel having, curb hopping there, 10th position. Will he still be in 10th when he rejoins? Nope, here comes the Mitchell. And who's this? This is Kubica, who's going to go off the track at turn 4. He's going to have a spin onto the gravel trap. That is from 6th position. That's a poor error. He's qualified way down the order in 15th. And what we're looking at here, Ricciardo versus Grosjean. Grosjean is only half a second behind Ricciardo. Grosjean does have a lighter fuel load, which would explain some of that. So I probably wouldn't get too worried if I was Ricciardo, because he has got more fuel on board. But look at Grosjean flying up to the back of him. Di Grassi up in third position at the moment, and another South American up in fourth position. That is Pastor Maldonado. And speaking of South America, Senna is in sixth position. And look, it's 7th and 8th. It's the two Mitchells of Hulkenberg and Heidfeld. So they're having a very good race at the moment. As they go through the fast sequence of corners, finishing the second sector, and now into the very quick chicane, the right and then the fast left, and now into the penultimate hairpin. Daniel Ricciardo doesn't have much of a lead over Grosjean. It's only half a second as they started this lap. Let's see what it is as they cross the line. Out of the final corner comes Ricciardo and Grosjean. It's still half a second, so Ricciardo just maintaining the gap for the moment. Well, Grosjean was just a few hundredths faster than him. And you can see he has got 5 laps less fuel on board. So if he's going to make this strategy count, he's going to have to get past him pretty quickly. And Ricciardo edged it out a little bit on that particular lap. Having a look at the GRMs now in action. Caused a massive furore at Silverstone when they squandered a double points finish. Well, having a look at one of them, I think that is Buemi. Should have the Swiss logo on his helmet. And, so one of them's gone off the track. That must have been Verne. No, it was Buemi. Buemi was in front of Verne before that happened, so quick note for next time, Verne has got yellow on his helmet. The recovering Vettel in the shake and bake, sneaking up the inside of the horizon of Sam Bird, going into turn 1, And now he has got Jean-Eric Vergne in his sights. Into the very tight chicane, which kind of spoils the flow of this circuit. And now into the fast sweepers. Here's turn 8. Into turn 9. Vettel all over the back of Vergne. Through turn 10, and now into the corner where everybody has been crashing. Turn 11. And now into the final sequence of corners, and Vergne feeling the need to defend into that particular corner, which was a bit unnecessary. Now into turn 13, the penultimate corner of the lap. Safe so far. Grosjean is now 0.4 of a second behind Ricciardo as they start their lap 28. And they're pulling away from Lucas di Grassi. And Vergne defending very aggressively, going into turn 1, and he's made a mess of that, going off the track. He's not going to make it as far as the tyre barrier, but that was optimistic. Panicked off the circuit by Vettel, who assumes 9th position behind the two Mitchells. Speaking of which, Senna is in trouble because he has got Nico Hülkenberg all over the back of him. Going into the first corner, Hülkenberg takes 6th position. Mitchell are having a bit of a resurgence, with Heidfeld up in 8th position. And the gap between these two is a second. So Ricciardo's edging it out a little bit. I wonder if Grosjean's just biding his time slightly. As they go around the long corner of turn 5, there's a bit of traffic in front to deal with. As they round the 6 and 7 chicane into the Campari corner. So what's the gap as they go through the second sector points, which is there? It's actually before turn 11. It's 0.9 of a second. They are coming up to an AJ to lap him. I think it's Mark Webber. Indeed it is. Here's Robert Wickens being lapped by Pastor Maldonado, and that's getting out of the way of him, and in the process spins his horizon. So I think Maldonado will be quite pleased about that. And Grosjean due in the pits this lap, so his lighter fuel load hasn't quite paid off in his quest for victory, which would be his first ever victory in FF1M, because I'm sure it was a lighter fuel load that helped Ricciardo get ahead of Alonso. So I don't think Grosjean realistically is going to challenge for the win unless he pulls out a barnstorming third stint, to borrow a well-known phrase there. But he's due in the pits this lap. Here he comes into this pit lane entrance. And they did lap the AJ in the process, who himself has got one of the... It's Kubica behind him because Sutil crashed out to pose his first retirement of the season, amazingly enough. How much fuel will Grosjean take? He didn't take that much fuel on board his first pit stop. And 23 laps. Again, not a lot of fuel, so he's going to have to do a long final stint. Di Grassi into the pits as well, Grosjean being held up. That's going to help Ricciardo just a little bit more. 7.4 seconds. And he's rejoined in 3rd position. So somebody in front of him has to make his second pit stop, which isn't Ricciardo, and that person is Maldonado. And into the pits comes Maldonado indeed. That was great timing, actually. Here's Vettel, who's all over the back of Heidfeld, who is in 7th position. Hülkenberg must have made a pit stop, because he's not in the top 10. And Vettel all over the back of fellow German and multiple race winner Nick Heidfeld, who has run a bit wide at the final penultimate corner. He might be due in the pits, actually. That would explain some of that. Here's Grosjean coming through turn 11, and he's doing his best to try and catch up to, or close the gap to Ricciardo. As he crosses the line, it's 25.5 seconds, so I don't think Ricciardo should be feeling too much pressure unless something dramatically wrong happens at his second pit stop. As he rounds turn 10 and 11, he's got a GRM in front of him, and it's Sebastian Buemi. So through turn 12. Small kinks before turn 13. Bruno Senna comes into the pits from 5th position. Now, will he rejoin ahead of Hülkenberg? That's going to be an interesting one. As into the pits, bang on at half distance, comes Daniel Ricciardo. Through the final corner, straight run. There used to be a chicane there, but that is obviously no more. Pulls into his pit box, And not for the first time, they're set to work on Daniel Ricciardo's car. And 22 laps of fuel going on board this, and 6.1 seconds. That's a quick stop. 1.3 seconds faster than Grosjean. There's yellow flags at turn 4, so somebody has gone off. And comfortably in the lead is Daniel Ricciardo, so all under control at the moment. So who has gone off or spun off? It's Jenson Button in 6th position. We're going to see a replay of that. That's just coming out of the pits as well. And cold tyres off the track and losing a lot of positions. That'd be Hulkenberg. And bang has gone one of the Horizons. That looks like Sam Bird. It's quite tricky to tell if the helmet's between Sam Bird and Robert Wickens. But it's Robert Wickens, so note to self, Wickens has got a silver helmet. And that's out 15th position. And that was Daniel Ricciardo coming through. And here's Grosjean. And the gap's 4.4 seconds, so Ricciardo's definitely got this one under control. I suspect he's got a little bit more fuel on board as well. Is Vettel getting past Senna for 6th position? Been a good recovery drive from Vettel, it has to be said. Just lost 3rd position in the championship from the previous race. As we look at Robert Kubica, hounding the back of Jean-Eric Vergne for 12th position. Vergne has gone off the track, and he's going to have a spin at turn 12, and Robert Kubica takes that position. Careful, guys, because there is a blocked car in the way. And that cost Di Grassi a lot of time, and he's got Maldonado all over the back of him. Maldonado looking for his first podium since this race, actually, the 2008 Hungarian race, where him and Senna scored the 1-2 finish for Shannon. As they round turn number 11, it's Di Grassi versus Maldonado, and Di Grassi feeling the need to defend going into the penultimate hairpin. Let's see what happens as they exit the final corner. So the gap between these two is just 0.2 of a second. Is that enough for Maldonado to make a move? Di Grassi defending very vigorously because this is for the final place on the podium. And Di Grassi has had 2 podiums this season. He had a 2nd position at Monaco and a 3rd position in the previous race at Germany. And Maldonado looking, as I say, for his first podium in a long while. So let's see who wants it more. Di Grassi will be looking to try and kickstart or to limit the damage of the Constructors' Championship between Tornado and Sean Connery-Motors, while Maldonado will be looking to sort Fernando Alonso a clean pair of shoes, although this time around it wasn't Alonso's fault because he had a gearbox failure. It's Ricciardo who's just started lap 53, and the gap that's come down by 0.7 between Ricciardo and Grosjean, so I imagine Ricciardo has a bit of traffic to deal with, and Grosjean will have that same traffic as well. As for the rest of the top 8, Nico Hulkenberg is now to 5th position, so that's a pretty good effort from him and for the whole Mitchell team, who have had to endure a lot of bashing from the suppliers Toyota. Again, Di Grassi defending going into turn 1, and Maldonado thinking better of it. Now as they come out turn number 5, what's going to happen here? Into the chicane at turn 6 and 7. And now into the fast sweepers. That's turn 8, turn number 9. Through 10 and 11. So, turning in. And it's Di Grassi who's had a spin at turn number 12. We were just waiting for something to happen from the replay bar, and it was Di Grassi throwing away 3rd position. And Hulkenberg is about to throw away 5th position with a spin at turn number 4. Should rejoin no problem. And Vettel nearly having an off as well, so it's quite slippery at the moment. And Hulkenberg took a while to rejoin, and now Jenson Button's going to have another moment. And he's lost a wheel! That is out of 6th position for the former champion. Jenson Button, 2008 champion, driving for Tornado at that point. And now we're looking at Grosjean, who's going to have an off, and his spin is going to hit the wall just about, but Let's see if he can rejoin. And he's rejoined from that. And Hulkenberg has pulled off the track, so that spin might have done more damage than expected. Pulling off at the inside of turn 4, interestingly enough. So it's all kicking off now. And we've still got 16 laps to go, so there's a fair bit of distance left of the race. And it's still Ricciardo who leads, and it's a suspension, so that doesn't surprise me considering he had that spin. On board with 6th place Bruno Senna as he goes into turn 12, understeers off the track and spin on the gravel. Now then, Heidfeld's going to take that 6th position off of him. And there's Grosjean going past him, that's to lap him. And Senna rejoined right in front of Robert Kubica. That is a battle for 7th position. As they round the final corner. And Kubica has got a run up the inside. Senna not defending that one too hard. And as a result, Kubica has taken 7th position off of him. Now from 15th on the grid, that's not a bad effort. Here's Sebastian Buemi, just getting out of the way of Pastor Maldonado, and by spinning at turn 12. And Di Grassi doing his hardest to try and keep up with the Venezuelan, who is in 3rd position. And out of the final corner, to take his 2nd win of the season, is Daniel Ricciardo. Fully deserved that one. And making up for the crash of Lewis Hamilton. Good result. And it's Roman Grosjean who will come home in a personal best 2nd position. Very good result from him, from 6th on the grid. Maldonado, first podium since 2008. Good race for him. And Lucas Di Grassi, having thrown away that 3rd place with a spin, finishes in 4th. Good recovery drive from Sebastian Vettel, finishing in 5th position. Robert Kubica is 6th, and Nick Heidfeld, points for Mitchell, in 7th position. Deserves that one, I think. And completing the points is Bruno Senna. Key retirements, Alonso, Hamilton and Rosberg. So that's as you were, between the the 3 main drivers going into this round. But who will be in 3rd position in the championship now? Well, let's see, because it is Daniel Ricciardo, who is only 14 points behind Hamilton. Now that is really interesting. Has Ricciardo got a shot at the championship? Well, who knows? But it's still 11 points, the gap between Hamilton and Rosberg. And Grosjean not too far behind either, only 21 points. And Alonso, with his mechanical failure, drops from 3rd to 5th in the championship. And Nick Heidfeld moves up from 23rd to 21st. So 3 Mitchell drivers have scored points this season. They are 8th in the championship, ahead of AJ. Meanwhile, it's Tornado who extends their lead over Sean Connery Motors. That gap is now 32 points. And FJR hold on to 3rd ahead of Willows Racing. They extend that gap by 2 points. And Shake and Bake now have a 1-point lead over Andrew F1. Pedersen, Mitchell, AJ and GRM and Horizon complete the order. So that was the Hungarian Grand Prix. Next up we'll be at the super fast, super popular Spa-Francorchamps circuit. So we'll see you then.